All right, welcome everyone. Today we're going somewhere truly special. Think of a city that isn't just a dot on a map, a place that's not just historic, but where the actual story of humanity kicks off. We're talking about Şanlıurfa. So get ready because we're taking a trip to the very dawn of civilization. So here's the big question, right? Is it even possible to trace the entire story of humankind? I mean, from hunter-gatherers all the way to prophets in just 2 days? Well, with the plan we've laid out, the answer is a resounding yes. Let's dive in. Okay, day one. This is all about completely blowing up what you thought you knew about the ancient world. Seriously. We're heading to prehistoric sites that have forced us to rewrite the first chapters of human society. This is where it all began. First up, a place they're now calling the 0 point of history, and for good reason. It's Göbeklitepe. Get this, it's dated to 9600 BC. That is just staggering. We're not talking about a few hundred years before the pyramids, we're talking thousands of years before them, even before anyone had figured out farming. And this massive, complex place was built by people we used to think of as simple hunter-gatherers. Mind-blowing. You know, for the longest time, the story we told ourselves was pretty simple. First, people learned to farm, then they settled down, and then they developed complex societies and religion. Made sense, right? Well, Göbekli Tepe just walks in and flips that whole theory upside down. These enormous T-shaped pillars, covered in carvings of wild animals, are proof that a super sophisticated social and spiritual life existed long before anyone ever planted a single seed. This discovery literally changed everything we know. So, just a quick drive from there. The story gets even more interesting. We're heading to Kara Tepe. Now, it's from the same impossibly ancient time as Göbekli Tepe, but what we find here reveals this profound shift. The story suddenly becomes a lot more about, well, us. And the difference between the two sites is, wow, it's just so clear. Göbekli Tepe is all about these powerful, sometimes scary animals, foxes, boars, snakes. It's all about the wild, natural world. But then you get to Kara Tepe, and suddenly, humanity steps onto the stage. The art is packed with human figures. It suggests this massive leap in consciousness, from focusing on the world around them to focusing on themselves. And this is really the key takeaway, and it comes straight from the guy in charge of the dig, Professor Nekmi Karul. He says these places weren't just temples in the way we think of them. Their main job was to bring people together. I mean, think about that. They were basically the world's very first community centers. And the proof for that? It's just unbelievable. Archaeologists have dug up this huge public building, about 17 meters wide, that looks through all the world like an ancient amphitheater. And what's around it? More than 30 oval-shaped homes. This is the first time we've ever seen a planned neighborhood, private houses built deliberately around a shared public space. And inside those homes, they found everyday tools, grinding stones and things, proving this was a real, living, breathing community 12,000 years ago. What's really incredible is that you can actually watch architecture being invented right here at Karahan Tepe. It's like a time-lapse over centuries. The homes start out as simple, round, or oval shapes. Then, in the next phase, they become rectangular but with rounded corners. And finally, they evolve into true rectangular buildings, the basic design we still use today. It's this amazing journey of design, all happening in one spot. Okay, so after seeing where society was literally born, we're going to wrap up day one at the Şanlıurfa Archaeology Museum. This is where we go from seeing the outlines in the dirt to the actual treasures they held in their hands. And this is that aha moment, It's where everything clicks. The stories we were piecing together out at Göbekli Tepe and Karahan Tepe, they're confirmed right here, behind glass, by the very things those ancient people made. And then, you see this. Meet the Urfa Man. This statue is, without a doubt, one of the most important things in the whole museum. It was found near Balıklıgöl, and it's the oldest known life-size, realistic statue of a person ever discovered. He stands 180 centimeters tall, that's nearly 6 feet, and his eyes, made of black obsidian, just stare right through you from 11,000 years away. It's a completely unforgettable, chilling experience. And of course, the museum is just packed with other amazing finds from that period. You've got the Göbekli Tepe totem, which is this really complex sculpture that hints at a whole mythology we can only guess at. And check this out, a piece of a stone bowl from another nearby site, Nivali Chori, that might just be the world's first drawing of people dancing. Then the collection takes you on a journey through time all the way up to these stunning Roman-era mosaics from Heli Babace, which even have the first ever known picture of the legendary Amazon warriors. All right, for day two, we're making a bit of a shift. We're moving from the dawn of society to the dawn of faith. We're about to explore the spiritual heart of Şanlıurfa, a city so important it's known to many as the City of Prophets. So we start our day at Balıklıgöl, also known as the Pool of Abraham. It's this beautiful, calm complex right in the middle of the city, where history, myth, and legend just completely blur together. The story they tell here is one of the most important stories for three of the world's biggest religions. So the story goes like this. There was a cruel king, Nimrod, who was furious with the prophet Abraham for his belief in one God. So he orders his men to build a massive fire and throw Abraham into it from the top of the castle. But as Abraham is falling, a miracle happens. God commands the fire, be cool and safe. And in an instant, the fire turns into a pool of water and the logs turn into carp. To this day, those fish are considered sacred, and the whole place is a major site of pilgrimage. And when you're there, the whole area is just layered with meaning. You have the gorgeous Halil-ir-Rahman Mosque right on the edge of the main lake. Then there's a smaller pool, Ain Zaliha, which legend says was formed from the tears of King Nimrod's daughter, who actually believed in Abraham. And right nearby, you can visit the Mevlidi Halil Mosque, which was built right next to the cave where the prophet Abraham is said to have been born. All right, from the peaceful, sacred quiet of the pools, we're about to plunge right into the loud, vibrant, living heart of the city, the historic bazaars. This is where you see that ancient traditions aren't just history, they're happening right now, every single day. The second you walk into the Kapalı Çarşı, the covered bazaar, it's like an explosion for your senses. It's this incredible maze of old stone alleyways, and you're hit with the sounds of people bargaining, the smell of spices in the air. You can practically feel centuries of history in the walls around you. Now, there are a couple of places you just have to check out. First, find the Gümrükhane. It's this beautifully restored old caravanserai, basically an ancient traveler's inn, and it's the perfect spot to just sit, have some tea, and watch the world go by. Then, just listen. Follow the sound of rhythmic hammering, and you'll find the Bakırcılar Çarşısı, the coppersmith's bazaar. It's this soundtrack of a craft that's been passed down for generations. And at the very center of it all is the Bedestan, the old lockable market, still the heart of the bazaar after more than 450 years. So let's just recap. In 2 days, just 48 hours, we've traveled from the literal birth of human society at Göbeklitepe and Karahantepe. We saw the hard evidence with our own eyes in the museum. We felt the deep power of faith and legend at Balıklıgöl, and then we plunged into a living, breathing history in the city's ancient bazaars. What a journey. And it all leaves you with this one big, lingering question. In a world that's always racing toward the next new thing, what can we learn from a place where the past isn't really past at all, where thousands of years of history are still alive and walking around with you in the present? What does a city with a memory this deep whisper to us about our own future?